So speaking of Egregor, I saw that they're a fairly new group. You wrote a little bit about them. Can you give us just a very executive summary on this group and what you're seeing?
Yeah, so this group has emerged over the past year. It's a variant of another ransomware family known as SecMet, and uh, which we saw emerge in March of 2020. And uh, Egregor is essentially the same malware with some minor variations. And we also saw the segment group drop off the radar in terms of having their own website. So it may very well be just a rebranding of Segment. And it also emerged around the same time that Maze was shutting down. So we don't know for sure that the same actors behind Maze are the ones behind Egregor, but we do know that a lot of the folks who were affiliates of Maze, people who were providing the malware capabilities to get Maze ransomware dropped onto their victims, are now working with Egregor instead.
Excellent. Yeah. And can you tell us a little bit about their business model? And a lot of people hear ransomware, that right? They think like the old school stuff from many years ago where, someone's aunt or uncle got their videos and pictures ransomed. How has that evolved and how do you see that evolving now with this group?
Well, ransomware has become a very mature business model. And the folks behind Egregor and some of the other major ransomware operations like Ryuk, uh, they are in the double extortion business. So they aren't just encrypting your files and holding them hostage, they are also stealing data from networks and then using that as leverage to get victims to pay. So in many cases, they are publishing pieces of that data in advance on websites available to anyone over the public internet as a way to encourage victims to pay. And so it's no longer just a case of, well, my files have been encrypted and I can just say they were encrypted and they weren't taken off the network. So I don't have to say it's a breach. It's almost certainly a breach now. You almost certainly have had lost some data from your network if you have a ransomware attack. They have before they launch the ransomware attack, they have already stolen data from your network.
Right, which that really changes the defenses and how we thought of, ransomware. Oh, just have backups. That's no longer the case because
Right.
sure, you'll be able to back up or restore, hopefully, if you test your backups. But now your data is actually stolen, so they're using that as a way to get paid as well. And yeah, it's that double extortion model.
Yeah, and in some cases, we don't know how many cases, but in some cases, we know that if the attackers find the data is more valuable to sell on the open market or sell on in criminal marketplaces than it is to extort the victim. They sell the data. They never publish it publicly. They just go out and sell it to criminals.
Yeah.